We're talking about the bias that makes you wire $50,000 to a stranger. The fallacy that keeps you typing your password into a fake website because, well, you've already started. And the cruelest trick of all, the belief that reading this makes you immune. Spoiler, it doesn't. Let's finish breaking your brain. Chapter 9. The Optimism Bias. Or it won't happen to me, right? The bias is that we systematically underestimate the probability of bad things happening to us. Car crashes happen to other people. Divorce happens to other people. Getting hacked happens to idiots. The hack, count on your denial. It's honestly the strongest force in the universe. Remember Greg from Chapter 3? The guy with the t-shirt? Greg now works at a new company. His boss sends out a memo. Everyone must complete cybersecurity training. Last month, a rival firm lost $2 million to a CEO fraud email. Greg reads the memo. He scoffs. Those people were morons, he thinks. I would never wire money to a random account just because an email said urgent. 3 weeks later, Greg gets an email. It's from his CEO. The email says, Greg, I'm in a meeting with the auditors. Need you to wire $50,000 to this vendor immediately. We'll explain later. Don't call me. I'm in a quiet room. Greg thinks, that's weird. But also it's the CEO, and I'm too smart to fall for the obvious scam, so this must be real. The hacker didn't need to be clever. He just needed Greg to believe he was special. The quiet room lie is absurd. I mean, what CEO can't take a 2-second call? But Greg's optimism bias fills in the gaps. Oh, the CEO trusts me. I'm the exception. This is fine. The money is gone in 12 minutes. Greg is fired in 13. The hacker buys a used jet ski. Greg buys therapy. You are not special. You are not the main character. You're a background extra in the movie of the internet, and the hacker is the guy who steals your wallet while you're looking at your phone. Assume the worst will happen to you. Then, prepare for it. That's not pessimism, that's threat modeling. Chapter 10. The IKEA effect, or why you won't report the breach. The bias. We overvalue things we have personally invested effort in. You think your DIY bookshelf is a masterpiece even though it's crooked. You think your password management system is brilliant even though it's password 123 written on a sticky note. The hack. Make the victim complicit. Make them work for the hack. They will protect the scam themselves. So a hacker sends you a zip file. The email says, I found this old project of yours online, thought you'd want to see it. Password is your birth year. You download the zip, a bit curious, you enter your birth year, but, well, it doesn't work. You try your cat's name just on a whim. It works. Inside is a PDF that says, just kidding. And without you even noticing, a keylogger installs silently in the background. Here's the twisted part. Because you had to guess the password, you now feel invested. You'll tell yourself, it couldn't have been a hack. I had to solve a puzzle. That means it was legit. The hacker knows that if you just clicked a link and got owned, you'd be angry. But if you earned the ownership, if you typed 3 passwords before the right one, you'll defend the scammer to your IT department. No, you'll say. It was a personalized file. It knew my cat's name. It must have been from a friend. No, it was from a hacker who scraped your social media and you just did his work for him. Effort is not a guarantee of safety. In fact, if a process feels interactive or clever, it's probably a social engineering trap. Real security is boring. Real security is a long, annoying, friction-filled process that makes you want to scream. Embrace the boredom. Reject the puzzle. Chapter 11. The framing effect, or would you like to die by phishing or by ransomware? So here's the bias. The way a choice is presented can totally change your decision, even if the underlying facts are, well, exactly the same. For example, a surgery with a 90% survival rate sounds great, doesn't it? But that very same surgery, if you say it has a 10% mortality rate, suddenly sounds terrifying. Same numbers, different words. The hack? Wrap the poison in a pretty question. You get a pop-up. It's not a threatening one. In fact, it's helpful. It says, your system has detected 3 critical vulnerabilities. To ignore them and continue unsecured, click later. To run a free 1-click repair, click Fix Now. And you think, well, I'm not an idiot. Later means I'm choosing to be unsafe. Fix Now means I'm responsible. I'm a responsible person. So you click Fix Now. Congratulations, you just installed a remote access Trojan. The hacker framed compromise your machine as responsible adult behavior. The hacker knows you absolutely hate being the bad guy. You'd rather download a virus than click a button that says, I am choosing to be vulnerable. He didn't trick your logic. He tricked your self-image. He's now watching you through your webcam. You are picking your nose. He screenshots it for his private collection. He calls it art. When software gives you a binary choice where one option sounds lazy and the other sounds heroic, trust me, the heroic one is almost always the malware. So here's the thing about the anchoring bias. The very first number you hear becomes this mental anchor, and, well, everything else just gets compared to it. Like, a $1,000 shirt sounds absolutely bonkers until you see it next to a $10,000 shirt. Suddenly, that $1,000 shirt seems like a bargain, right? The trick is simple. Show you some completely ridiculous original price for something that's basically worthless, then dangle a massive discount in front of you. It's sneaky, but it works. Chapter 12. The Anchoring Bias, or the 9,999 discount that cost you everything. Picture this. You're browsing a website that looks totally legit, maybe a security software vendor, then bam, a giant banner pops up. Lifetime. Dark web monitoring. Usual price $9,999. Today only $49. And your brain immediately starts calculating, whoa, I'm saving $9,950. That's wild. Even if this thing is mediocre, it's practically free compared to 10 grand. So you go ahead and buy it. You enter your credit card details, download the software, and, well, turns out it's just a keylogger. The truth? That $9,999 price tag never existed. The hacker literally made it up 5 minutes ago, and you just paid $49 to have your identity stolen. But here's the kicker. The hacker isn't just some random con artist. No, he's a student of human stupidity. He knows you simply can't resist a discount. Honestly, you'd probably buy a used tissue if it was originally $500 and marked down to 99 cents. He laughs while draining your bank account, then sends you a thank you email. The subject line, you saved $9,950 today, and he signs it. Your friendly neighborhood economist. So, if a deal seems way too good to be true, it probably is. But more importantly, if you see some wild anchor price being used, that's not a deal. It's just a magic trick. Seriously, close the tab, go for a walk, touch some grass. The grass is free, and it won't steal your social security number. Chapter 13. The Sunk Cost Fallacy, or, but I already typed half my password. So, here's the bias. We keep investing in something that's clearly not working, just because we've already put in time, money, or effort. Quitting? Well, it feels like admitting defeat, so we double down and unfortunately end up losing twice as much. The hack is simple. String the victim along in small steps. Make quitting feel more expensive than just carrying on. You get a call. Hello, this is Rachel from Bank Fraud Prevention. We noticed a suspicious charge for $2,300 at an electronics store in Miami. Was that you? You say no. Rachel replies, okay, I need to verify a few details to reverse the charge. What's your account number? You hesitate. But you've already spent about 90 seconds on the call. You don't want to hang up now and then have to ring the actual bank and wait on hold for 20 minutes. So, you give the number. Rachel says, great, now I need the last 4 of your social. You give it. Now you're 6 minutes in. You've told her your birth date, your address, and your mother's maiden name. Each request seems smaller than the last. You keep going because stopping now would mean those 6 minutes were wasted. But actually, they weren't wasted. They were the bait. And you're the fish. So the hacker's script, it's actually designed a bit like a video game tutorial. First step, easy. Just your account number. Second step, a bit more challenging, the last 4 digits of your social security number. Third step, hard mode, the full social security number. By the time you get to that tough step, you're, too invested to quit. He calls this the escalation of commitment. You might call it being thorough. He on the other hand, calls it lunch money. And honestly, the moment you start to feel uncomfortable, just hang up, delete the email, close the browser. The time you've already wasted is, well, gone. Don't add total identity theft to the list of losses. Sunk cost is a fallacy, not a strategy. Chapter 14, the Dunning-Kruger effect, or the hacker's favorite employee. So, here's the bias. Incompetent people, well, they just don't know they're incompetent. They tend to overestimate their skills. Meanwhile, the real experts, they often underestimate theirs. The result? The loudest person in the room is usually, let's be honest, the most clueless. The hack here is simple. Target the overconfident junior employee. They'll do just about anything to prove they belong. Picture this. It's a Monday morning. A new intern named Brad gets an email from the VP of Sales. The email says, "Brad, I need you to reset the SharePoint access for our Q3 report. Here's a link to the admin portal. Let me know when it's done. Don't bother Frank, he's swamped." Now, Brad has no idea what SharePoint is. He doesn't know who Frank is either. But he really wants to look capable. So he clicks the link, he logs in with his corporate credentials, he even types in his two-factor code when asked. So, the so-called admin portal is, well, a complete fake. The hacker now has Brad's credentials and, even his two-factor authentication token. Brad never told anyone, actually. He was just too embarrassed about the whole thing. Meanwhile, the hacker spent the next 3 weeks living inside the company's email server, reading HR files and, quietly changing payroll direct deposits. When the FBI finally showed up, Brad said, "I thought I was helping." The hacker sends Brad a fruit basket. The card reads, "Thanks for believing in yourself. It made my job a lot easier. If you don't know something, just say so. Ask for help." The most dangerous person in any organization is the one who pretends to understand. Hackers have a special name for that person. Chapter 15. The Availability Heuristic, or your cousin got hacked, so you're safe, right? The bias here is this. We judge the likelihood of events based on how easily examples come to mind. If you just saw a news story about a shark attack, you tend to overestimate the danger of sharks. On the other hand, if you've never seen a house fire, you probably underestimate how dangerous fires really are. The hack is actually pretty simple. Exploit recent news cycles to make even the most absurd scenarios seem plausible. Let's say there's a massive data breach at a major bank. It's all over the news. The very next day, you get an email. Urgent. Due to the bank name breach, your account has been flagged for suspicious activity. Click here to re-verify. And you think, oh yeah, I heard about that breach. This makes sense. It's probably real. But it's not real. The hacker just read the same news you did. He's simply riding the wave of public fear. Hackers have calendars. They know when tax season rolls around. Think IRS scams. They know when Amazon Prime Day is. Cue those delivery failure scams. And, well, they even know when a celebrity passes away. Memorial donation scams, anyone. You might think you're just responding to reality, but honestly, you're actually responding to their editorial calendar. The hacker doesn't need to be creative, he just needs to be timely. You are a weather vane. He blows, you turn. Just because something is in the news, it doesn't mean the email in your inbox is really connected. So treat every urgent message as guilty until it's proven innocent. Type the URL yourself, call the bank yourself. Be a skeptic, not a sheep. Chapter 16. The status quo bias, or I've used the same password since 2007 and I'm fine. So the bias here is that, well, we really just prefer things to stay the same. Change feels like it's risky, doesn't it? Inaction, on the other hand, feels a bit like safety. The hack honestly is simple. Don't push the victim. Just let them sit there, rotting away in their comfortable, vulnerable habits. You should use a password manager. You should enable two-factor authentication. And deep down, you really shouldn't reuse the same password across, say, 40 different websites. But, well, you've been doing it for years, right? Nothing bad has happened yet. Changing everything would be such a pain. A hacker doesn't even need to trick you. He just waits, Sooner or later, one of those 40 websites gets breached. Your trusty old password appears on a list. The hacker tries it, on your email, your bank, your social media. One by one, the doors open. The hacker didn't even hack you, really. You hacked yourself, slowly, over the course of a decade. He just showed up at the end to collect his prize. He calls this harvesting. You perhaps just call it Tuesday. He sends you a polite email. Your password has been pounded. Please change it. But don't be fooled. It's not out of kindness. He's already drained your account. Now he just wants to see if you'll reuse the new password too. The status quo is not your friend. It's a warm bath that bit by bit is turning into boiling water. Change your habits now while you still have a choice. Or, well, don't. The hacker's new jet ski isn't going to pay for itself. Finally, you made it. You now know exactly how hackers use your brain's flaws against you. So here's the final test. The next time an email makes your heart race or your ego swell, will you pause or will you just click? Don't answer now. Go change your passwords. Enable two-factor authentication. And if this video saved you from one stupid click, smash that like button. It's a lot cheaper than ransomware. Subscribe if you enjoy feeling paranoid. And hey, comment, what's the dumbest thing you've almost clicked? I'll wait.